Hello, this is Arisha, and this is my Pillars of Leadership number 7, David singing God's song. And I love this. I just loved it. It was so beautiful to me because you never really realize how to really sing God's song until you've been in His presence. And I mean, been in His presence to where you don't want to leave, to where you're just like, God, can I just stay with you forever? Can I just stay here forever? And I believe that's what David experienced because, you know, what it says, the first thing it says is unconfessed sin was wasting David's life. And when we sin, and we just hold it inside, it truly eats us up alive. You know, it just ruins our day. We just can't even function because we know that we know that we're not in right standing with God. And I think this is what David felt. And it says that when David confessed his sins and found himself surrounded by mercy, but more than that, he found himself surrounded by music. That's what happens to us. When we have finally got over ourselves and truly come to seek the Father and let Him know what we did and, confess our sin, He has mercy on us. In fact, He rejoices over us, and it's just music everywhere because we trust Him enough that He already knows anyway, but we acknowledge it, and I think that's what God really wants us to acknowledge when we're wrong and be willing and bold enough to bring it to Him and say, hey, I need help. I need help. I was wrong, but I want to make it right with you. And I believe that once David got that revelation and he went to God, that's when heaven shouted. That's when he was able to shout. That's when he was able to sing. That's when he was able to really, really, really understand how much God truly loved him. Is when he was able to go to Him, confess his sin, and God not condemn him, but love him, but shout for him, but just rejoice over him. That's just an amazing picture. It's an amazing thought because that's what God does for us too. God is no respecter of person. So the same thing that He did for David is the same thing that He does for me and you when we acknowledge that we're wrong and we come to Him and we want to make it right. So in this pillar of leadership, it asks, if you could hear heaven singing over you, what would your response be? My response would be to fall down and worship. I'm not going to lie, I probably would do a little dancing, but I would just bow down and just worship. I would be in so much adoration and awe because I know that's what happens. I know for me, that's what happens. And even if I can't hear it in the physical, I know that I hear it spiritually. I know that that's what's going on in the heavenlies when I come to my daddy and I tell him, Daddy, I messed up and I'm sorry and I love you. I just want to make it right, and I repent and turn from it and never do it again. I know that they're happy, and I know that after that I'm able to sing. I'm able to sing God's song, and an activation that could be done with this is as simply as that, just having someone who has committed a sin and is hiding it or covering it up, and once they've got to their wits' ends, they take it to the Father, and the Father begins to rejoice around them. The angels begin to rejoice around them. Having people as a representation of the Spirit, of angels, just begin to dance around that person, and that person begins to shout for joy and dance as well. I think it's important to understand that God doesn't condemn us when we make a mistake. He wants us to bring it to Him so that He can fix it, and He loves us. He showers us with His mercy. It says that it comes as about with songs of deliverance. Anytime you're delivered from a situation, your natural response is to shout. Your natural response is to have joy. Your natural response is just to lift up your hands and to worship. And that's what I got out of this pillar. Is just no matter what happens, just know that God is for you. He's not against you. Even when you're wrong, confess it, acknowledge it, and allow His mercy to purify you and just to give you that love that only God can give. I hope that this ministered to your heart. Have a beautiful, blessed day.